But I think we start from the Jimmy Garoppolo angle. If you're Jimmy G, is this a win? Is this a loss? How do you feel today?
For Jimmy Garoppolo, for me, this is a massive win, Kevin, because what have we been saying all along? There is no trade partner. The 49ers will cut Jimmy Garoppolo, and then we'll see where he lands. And does it take him a couple weeks? Does he pick a new place to go? And how much money would he actually make? $6.5 million guaranteed for Jimmy Garoppolo, and he was staring right down the eye of about $1 million contract by hanging on to a third quarterback spot somewhere in the NFL. So that's a big win for him. Now, if he also starts games, we'll get into the Trey Lance thing in just a few moments, but if he does start games, he's going to get roughly, 16 million guaranteed is what it takes a look at. So Jimmy Garoppolo, to me, was the biggest winner. Now, again, as I said, before we get to the whole Trey Lance angle here, it feels to me like the San Francisco 49ers. Now, NFL owners, more money than anything. They can spend on whatever they want. They can, cut a player, buy a new house in France, do whatever they want. It seems to me that coming down the stretch here, when it was apparent for, 6 months, nobody wanted Jimmy Garoppolo around the NFL by trade because they knew you should be cutting him here. That's the shrewd football decision, considering of what you think of Trey Lance. But again, I don't want to get into that just yet. But does it feel to you, Kevin, like the ownership goes, boy, we're going to be really embarrassed if everybody called our bluff? Let's call Jimmy Garoppolo, and the issue, the money. There's no issue with money here. Let's restructure his contract and bring him back and tell everybody how much we always really wanted to keep him, and that was the game plan from the beginning when it wasn't. It almost looks like everybody was waiting, and also the egg on their face, right? The minute he's cut, he goes to the Rams. The minute he's cut, he goes to the Seattle Seahawks. He goes to the Cleveland Browns. They get him for free. It almost feels like, to me, one of those moves like, we're not going to embarrass ourselves when everybody called our bluff. Let's just go ahead and re-sign him and tell everybody, oh, yeah, this was always the plan, even though we tried multiple times over 6 months just to trade this guy.
Make no bones about it. We were right the entire time, no matter what happens from now until basically the end of Jimmy Garoppolo's career. Because of the ridiculous contract, the subpar play, and ultimately an injury, Jimmy Garoppolo was never going to be valued at the number that people were trying to present him at, worth a first-round pick to pay him north of $20 million. I mean, that's just completely unreasonable to think that that's what anybody was going to be willing to do, and they were not willing to do that. So that is the first part of it, right? They had to find a different scenario. We thought it would just be outright cutting him. But funny enough, yesterday, we were on the radio side of things on Moneyline, you and I, and we started to say, it's pretty interesting. Once Garoppolo's gone, the Niners will be desperate for a real backup quarterback. So from that perspective, I think it's good for the Niners that they were able to keep Garoppolo in the building. For Garoppolo, based on what was out there as of today, it's fine. But realistically, DRS, you think about every option that these two sides had on the table, I don't know if this is really a win. The Niners could have moved on quicker and found themselves probably a cheaper, yet similarly adequate backup quarterback situation. And again, if Garoppolo was cut right off of the bat, he would have been picked up and signed somewhere else. So where we sit right here, right now, it's good. But in the grand scheme of things, this continues, I still think, to be egg on the face and a loss for both parties.